Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of The Back Nine. We are here on episode, I guess this is technically 4, but it also feels like technically 3 because we finally have the interview that you all have been waiting for. I am aware of my green screen here being a little bit off key. It's because the light looks terrible if I change it whatsoever, but some good news on the horizon with regards to that. Welcome in, everybody. My name is NineWholeGrains, the host of The Back Nine. You can take a look here at the side. We have changed up the structure ever so slightly, which will be maybe a little bit of a shock to some of you, but because the interview today with FTWin does involve a full 5 people, or technically 6. How many people do I have in this group? I want to say 5 people. And we want to make sure that everybody will be able to speak today to give their piece. So today's interview will take 45 minutes to an hour as opposed to the 30 to 45 minutes as we usually do. So that is why it will be ever so slightly different. But I think you all will still enjoy. I know this is an interview we've been trying to get together for quite some time, so I hope that you guys will enjoy that. Some other things that you will note, we do have the soapbox still up again. We'll be taking a trip down memory lane, polls and discussion, and a new segment that will be coming up, as well as the next guest. So we have some fun stuff to talk about today, but we do have, as a couple of you have put it, the good team, the super team, FTWin. I'm going to take my time here to get them all
Bursty,
unmuted.
Tachi, Cass.
Let's see. That's
Just go by that.
Shaq, that's there. That's another. That's another. That's another.
No,
Nine's gonna
That's
introduce.
Hey guys, I'm Nine.
No, you're not. I'm 9. What the heck?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Bad timing.
How are you guys doing today?
Very good.
Good.
Pretty good.
Oh,
Good.
yeah.
Good. I know today you weren't competing. You guys were sitting on the sides, and I know that according to Twitter you had some thoughts on that. But we're not here to talk about that. So feel free to lament on that by yourselves. But real quick, go ahead and give yourselves a second to introduce yourselves, because I know people might not recognize the voices yet.
All right, hello, I'm Bursty. Hello, I'm Tachi.
Hey everyone, I'm Cass.
Kia.
I'm Quavo.
And I am Shaq.
All right, welcome in, guys. So we always start by giving the guests the opportunity to talk a bit about their journey through Splatoon. I know there's 5 of you here, so if you want to abbreviate, that would be much appreciated. But just talk a bit about where you started off, maybe the first team that you were on, something like that, and how you got to where you are today.
Shark, you want to take this one?
Oh, okay. I'll take it. So I played the first game, basically on release, and I joined competitive in I think October of 2015, I believe. And I joined because I was a huge Dude fanboy, so he helped me get into the scene. Thank you, Dude. But basically, for as long as I remember, I had one teammate who I practically stuck with on every team I was on. His name was Oblivious, and I can say without a doubt, he's definitely the reason that I'm here now. He helped keep me motivated to keep competing in tournaments and help keep me on track and practicing, and definitely he helped teach me a lot so that I would be here today.
Wow.
Anyone else like to
Okay.
speak?
Okay, so
Wait, you want to go casting?
sure. So basically, I started to play this game because I wanted to add more RAM to my PC, and I fucked up and I broke my PC, and I had nothing else to play. So I had the Wii U with my game. So I was, I'm gonna try this game, and I started playing in Splatoon 1, and I played with the same guys for 5 years. Yeah, my first team when I joined someone, it we have been stuck together until this year, why not 2019, where we disbanded, and then I ended up here in FTWin.
Quavo, you can talk for us because we've literally been on the exact same team.
Okay. So, basically, I met this guy named Hachi, and he was on my first team that I played with for a while, and then my first notable team was with Tomo and with Kyo, Hachi, and Toon, and yeah, that's basically what led us all here today.
Boy, for me, I started playing the game. I saw a YouTube video on it. I thought it looked cool. I bought the game. I started playing ranked. I really liked it. It took me a while to get into the competitive scene, but I eventually got on a European team on the bounce. Played with them for like a year. Then Splatoon 2 came out, and I grinded that game super hard in the summer. I was like a solo queue warrior. Eventually, Fuzzy recognized me. He tweeted out like, "Oh, this H3 is really good in solo." Shaq saw the tweet, and Shaq also saw me in solo a lot, so he reached out to me, asked me to play on Saikai, and then from there, the rest is history.
Yes, sir.
So I actually used to be not good at all. I used to be like very not okay. I didn't really know what I was doing when I first started playing competitive. I bought the game on release and I played it like that was one of the only games that I played as a childhood or during my childhood. Apart from a few other games, but I was on a few like smaller teams in Splatoon 1. They aren't really notable, I guess. But I had like people like Tension and Henry on the same team as I. I think that was my peak in Splatoon 1, and then they obviously like passed me, and they went on to form Quantum or Pop, and I was kind of like stuck in this like ditch, and I was like, what am I gonna do? I want to get better. I just had that drive to always like become better. And in Splatoon 2, I became Div 1, and I was like, all right, I set a bunch of goals for myself. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna take no for an answer, and uh, that led up to winning X Division, and that was like my breaking point. I was like, all right, okay, I actually can do these things that I've wanted to do for about 3-4 years, and I was like so happy the moment we won X Div, Destiny Von, um, as like a captain. But then I joined Synergy for the Open, and then I got a lot of recognition there. Uh, and another person that's helped me a lot is Alexei, because he first noticed me when no one else would, because of my reputation that I used to have for not being like a nice person. So I have to thank him a lot for my success where I am now, because I definitely trained very hard to be where I am right now, and now I'm on FTWin. So.
And at the peak, very nice. And let's see. I know, Kyo, I know you kind of stepped back and let Quavo said, but was there anything that you wanted to add to this?
Well, Quavo forgot to mention that the first team I played on with him was Hikaru Memento, which was basically just a team made of Twitch chatters from Prime Stream and other streamers like Two and Octopops. And then we kind of diverged from that team because he was on like the second roster for HM, and I was on the first roster, but I played backline. But we like playing with backline a lot. Or they didn't like playing with backline a lot. So I was like, I want more playtime. So I was like, I'll make my own team. So I get more playtime. And that's where Tomo formed.
Yeah, that's a real throwback, and now you guys have come back. And so, is Hachi coming back for real?
I doubt it.
Well, I hope so. My personal favorite variant of Tomo was Black Belly Sorbet, so if y'all could bring that one back too, that'd be much appreciated.
One day.
One day. But so you guys have talked a bit about your origins as players. Talk about the origins of FTWin, because I think a lot of people understand you came together with the intention of being a super team. You came together with the intention of beating the best North American teams at the time. But what was that process? What did that look like?
Okay, so I'll go ahead with this one. It's actually pretty uninteresting, I guess, so to speak. So basically, after the 2018 Inkling Open, the North American one, I was in a bit of a slump because Saikai, my team, basically was kind of dying down, and I eventually realized that the players that were still on the team with me uh, didn't really have that same goal of kind of being the best anymore. And I felt like I was the only one who had that goal. So I reached out to Bursty and I said, would you be down to make a new team with me? Because Bursty was kind of off Psychi at that point because he also realized that the rest of our teammates weren't really trying to be the best anymore. I asked if he wanted to make a team with me, and he said sure. So then basically from there, I knew Tomo was really good, and I knew Kyo specifically was really, really good. So I pretty much just went into his DMs and I just typed in all caps, "Make a team with Bursty and I?" question mark. And he said, "Sure."
Wow.
And
Shoot your
yeah.
shot, everybody. Come on.
yeah, I mean it worked. I think I can toss it off to Kyo a bit for why I guess he chose to join the team.
So, from my perspective, a bit more of the reason of why it worked is well, Tomo was on his last legs pretty much as a team at that point because, and we had a lot of members coming in, but Blue eventually stopped playing, Pops as well, Savage didn't really care as much about the game, so then we were left with like a 4-person roster of me, Toon, Hachi, and Quavo, and Hachi didn't really want to play competitive Splatoon anymore, hence why he doesn't really play now, despite me playing with him occasionally. So then we were just a team of 3. We added Aribun to the team. Now, like, it wasn't more of like a stabilization thing. Like, we just needed a 4th member to play within tournaments, but we were like really set on continuing as a team. So at that point, it was like I didn't know where to go. But since Shaq asked me to join the super team at the time, I was like, oh, sure. Like, I don't, nothing else I could do. I have no team to play within any tournaments. I know that Fuzzy back then wanted to make a team with me, Ice, Bursty, but Bursty wasn't really playing the game at the time, and he was still on SCDX, so that was really my only option.
I hadn't heard that part of it, but your only option is to join a team that immediately wins its first tournament. That's not too bad. And I know you talked a bit about some of the previous teams that you were on, but what were the lessons that you were able to take from those old teams that you brought to FTWin? Because I think a lot of people assume that 4 players like that can come together and immediately have success, but I'm curious, was that the experience? I know you won your first tournament, but how long did it really take you guys to get to that super team level?
Well, I guess the biggest thing I kind of learned from Saikai was that it's important to have players on the team who share the same goals as you, because at least for Saikai, not everybody had the goal of being the very best team and reaching the top, and sometimes in tournaments you'd be able to see it. So when I reached out to Kyo, like I specifically reached out to Kyo and Bursty because I knew these guys are really passionate about winning and being the best. And when we talked about getting more members, that was definitely put into consideration because we wanted to make sure that we all had that drive to become the very best team.
In a similar sense, yeah, pretty much the same thing. Because I know on Tomo, like I said before, Hachi didn't really want to play competitive anymore. So he had the goal of he wanted to have more fun with the game, right? And I clashed a lot with me. Not like we didn't like argue about it, but the goals clashed, and that didn't really make for words. It didn't really work out because I wanted to practice constantly a lot. He was more about having fun, which is it's fine, but like I think you have to have similar motives. And something else I learned from being on like HM is to check in on your players a lot, like their mental state, to make sure that they're enjoying the game, they're enjoying the process of becoming better. Because if that if that isn't there, then it usually will not work out. Like it'll all come crumbling down eventually.
Yeah, that is the part of it that's, I guess we get so caught up in the game itself that you forget that there are people playing the game. And I do think it's especially interesting that you guys have kind of come from that from 2 different angles, like checking in on players and making sure that you're on the same page with the players as to goals. Just again, kind of shows you why communication is so important when it comes to this. And I guess continuing along this same path, you guys have had a lot of roster changes over time, and I think the fact that FTWin has gone through so many roster changes and stayed at the top tells me a lot about the quality of you all as players and your communication. But I mean, go ahead and talk a bit about what it's like to be teammates with players like this. And I'll ask some questions about your coach later, but for now I want to give you guys the chance to talk what it's been like going through all these roster changes and some of the newer additions as well.
Yeah, so obviously our newest addition of the roster is Bliss. So the biggest thing we kind of look for when we're looking at players recruit is mentality. So you can be really good at the game, but if you're just not good in a team environment, like if we're losing in a tournament and you're being passive aggressive or you're just quiet, not listening to calls, that's like really hard to work with. But if you're someone like Bliss, who's really easy to work with, listens to us, stays cool during tournaments, it helps a lot so that we're able to adapt mid-set. Also, obviously, we look for skill. We're trying to be the best. So not necessarily recruiting the best players ever, but people who have potential to grow. And again, the mentality just adds to that.
And did any of the other new additions? I know Bliss, you're fairly or newer, I want to say, compared to the S, and Bliss as well. I mean, what's it like teaming with some of these players here? Have you found the experience to be as enjoyable as you thought, better than you thought? I mean, is Kyo really as big of a jerk as people say he is, or is he actually a nice guy?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
you can go first, Cassie.
okay. Like, depends how you go. Like, he's a jerk or not. Depends what you say to him. That's true. But like before joining FTWin, like I have played with him like for months, like JP screams and things like that, because Kyo sometimes asked me to play with them because they needed a sub or anything. So I already had like I was used to play with them. So it was not like such a difference because it was like the only people I played with for like months since I didn't have a team, and it was like the only guys I was, because I don't like doing random pickups or stuff, because like one way I like to play is having fun with friends, that's all, and competing and winning. But if I don't feel comfy, I don't play with people.
Yeah, and I kind of want to add on to that. I remember Keo, I think, was the one who got Cassie originally into +1, and we would
No,
play.
I think it was Toon.
Okay, it was one of them. But my point is, I remember we would play scrims as FTWin, and Cassie would be playing pickups, in the server, and definitely playing against Cassie back then, you could always notice that he was very good with his ballpoint, and so I think he eventually did leave the server and quit because he wasn't on a team, and he said himself that he didn't really like pickups as much. But definitely when we were looking for a new backline member, Cassie instantly came to mind because when he wasn't +1, he was playing really well.
Look at you guys building each other up. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's true. Like I didn't play the game at all for like maybe the whole summer, and like I got a random message from Kyo, hey, do you not play with us? No, it was like, hey, I wish you were North American so you could play with us. And, I was like, huh?
So he guilt tripped you, even better. That's
Kinda. But yeah, they asked me, and I was like, sure, I will play with you. Like I will start to play again with you guys.
So okay, now here's the fun question, and I think a lot of people, if they follow Splatoon, know of Hexen, certainly, but I feel like there are a lot of people who don't really know Hexen on a personal level or are close to him. I know nothing about Hexen. I've met him like 10 times and I still don't know the dude at all. So I'm curious, like, what is it like to be coached by Hexen? I know, Shaq, you had mentioned that he really built you up, told you dunk on people, Shaq, things like that. But what is it like to be coached by Hexen? I mean, I know he obviously has very high expectations for you all, but what's it like?
Well,
yeah, Bercy, go ahead first.
Okay, I'll go first. So
yeah,
playing with Hexen, it's honestly more fun than you expect. You know, on STDX, he kind of had this not necessarily toxic, but not the best reputation for being a teammate. We're still playing with Hexen recently, and it's still been really fun. He's very knowledgeable about the game. He thinks more abstract than the average player, so we're able to like come up with new ideas that aren't just like let's run two front or let's run junior here, like some more about the game itself than just what we're picking. Also, he's very experienced in like other shooters, so I think he got Diamond in Apex last season, just an example. So he's able to bring us more abstract ideas that work in other shooters. So on Zone 3, for example, he yells at us to hold bridge because it's the high ground, and that's something like Splatoon players don't really think about too much is high ground, and obviously in shooters, high ground gives you a lot of advantage. So it's just something like an example of how Hexen's shooter expertise has helped us.
Yeah, and for me personally, I guess I was extremely nervous to play with Hexen because I think I woke up at like 2 a.m. in the morning because we were supposed to Japanese stream, and I was like, oh shoot, did I oversleep? And then I see Hexen in the server, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And we're like, yeah, we're playing with Hexen for the summer open tournament. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I hadn't really played with him before, and I was a bit nervous because I didn't. I guess I was kind of worried about his, like Bercy said, his aforementioned toxic complex or whatever. But I think he really helped me get better at the game because, like Bercy said, he helped me think about the game in a different way, mainly my positioning, and then he helped me kind of gain confidence in my own gameplay. And realistically, I think that I've become like an extremely better player just because of him. Because he made this call out called O'Neal, and it's a good call. Basically, whenever he says O'Neal, he wants me to run forward at the enemy team because he says I have QR and I can dive at them and I'm good at the game and I will splat the enemy team, just like Shaquille O'Neal will dunk on the enemy team, basically. And he kind of uses it as a thing. So in the grand finals of the Summer Open tournament, right before it started, he's like, "We got O'Neal," and I'm like, "Yes, we do." And I don't know, it's kind of like a mentality boost in a sense, I guess. And I think that's the big thing because we talked about how important mentality is. And if you're going into a tournament, into a set, and you don't think you're going to win, you're not going to play as well. So you should always go into it with the game plan that you're going to win, you're the best. And he helped me do that.
Oh, yeah, and one more thing I had to add, I forgot. It's something we've been incorporating with our tournament play recently is getting loud. Obviously, if anyone's watched the GSM VOD for 2 weeks ago, you can know that we get really loud. It's something Hexen told us. It not only like hypes us up, like fills us with adrenaline. It also just helps us to stop tilting because I know personally I used to have not like a huge problem with tilt, but I would definitely tilt in tournament. Kyo would also sometimes get upset. Same with Bliss. So just when we're getting loud, getting really hyped, it's really hard for us to get angry at like small stupid deaths.
And I see that you posted something geometric painting. Is that
Okay? This is okay. I was like, maybe I'll save it for okay. So basically, Hexen is. Oh, okay. Well, this just makes me feel stupid. Well, basically, I would I have a throwaway account that I sometimes used to stream, and Hexen will watch so he can like review my gameplay, and he'd always be. I would always be like, I'd be playing L3 and we're playing like Zone's Muscle Forge, and I'd be shooting the zone from bridge. I'm like, oh, I'm painting the zone. I'm painting the zone. And Hexen, at the end of that game, he's like, Shaq, what are you doing? You're not shooting the zone. Go to the right side of the zone and shoot your weapon to the other side of the zone because then you're covering the whole zone. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so smart because I'm shooting from the bridge and I'm only touching the right side of the zone. But if I go to the bottom, if I shoot the zone from the right side to the left, I'm covering the entire zone with my weapon. So I call it geometric painting because I am literally covering the entire zone. And that's literally won some games for me because I'm just painting smartly. Like I position myself where all my shots cover the zone, and like I can like outpaint some bomb rushes sometimes. So it helps.
When you said he spoke to you about abstract terminology, I wasn't quite expecting the abstract to be stand on one side of the zone and paint across
Yeah.
the other side of the zone.
That's more me not thinking too well.
So more of a you thing and less of a Hexen
Yeah.
thing. So I mean, would you say that his reputation is misunderstood then, or do you think that maybe, I don't know, do you think he's nicer to you guys? Do you think that he's just someone who really wants to win, and a lot of people in Splatoon are not familiar with what that can look like? Like, I really am curious, because when I saw that you guys were getting coached by him, I thought that this team's either never going to lose again or something bad's going to happen. And it seems like, given how many tournaments you guys have won in a row, your subtitle on stream is actually winners of pretty much everything. It seems like it's been more of that. So what's your take on that?
I think that Hexen, definitely is, I guess, misunderstood in a sense. I don't think he's close to as bad as anybody thinks. I don't think he's bad at all, actually. I think I contribute our win in the Summer Open last year exclusively because of him. I think if we got any other player, there's no way we would have won that tournament. Without a doubt, we lose that tournament if we did not have Hexen. So I think he's really smart, and he's definitely made us much better than we used to be.
Oh yeah. Also, something Hexen brought to our attention about Tilth and stuff is it's not people getting angry at the teammates or at the game. It's just about passion. So like Hexen's very passionate. He likes to win. So when things aren't following through and execution isn't there, he's not necessarily getting angry at his team. He's not trying to be a jerk on purpose. He's just very passionate for the game. So that's also probably why he's a bit misunderstood.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really know what that type of passion can look like when people are really, really serious and passionate about what they do. So I appreciate you guys talking about that. And again, you guys kind of gave me a great segue there, talking about how you have won a lot of things in Japanese scrims, because you guys are standing at the top of non-Japanese Splatoon, GSM point standings notwithstanding. Does it feel like you thought it would? Because you guys have been at the top for a while. You came together with the intention of being the best. Like, there's that old saying that there are some views you can only see from the top. Does it feel like you thought it would?
In a way, not really. I can't speak for these guys, but ever since I was like introduced into the team in general, of playing like the 2020 Open, I've been always under pressure since then. I've just been like, I'm with the best team, or the known best team. Like, this team is known to win, and I'm like, if we lose, it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's my fault. Like, I'm under like a lot of pressure now than I was like if I was just a little bit like on a different team. Like, I would feel that motivation. Oh yes, I want to beat these guys. I want to win. But now it's like, okay, well, I'm here now. Now I have to defend my spot, and I have to defend the reputation of the team. So it's been like really, really nerve-wracking for me, even though I haven't been on the team for that much. It's still like a constant worry, because this goes for every game. Like, everyone wants to see the underdog win. Like, people will like love to see like us go down, honestly, or like lose, or we have like a lot of people that support us. But then there's like, okay, well, like, here's the set. It'd be amazing if Sayonara just sweeped us out of nowhere. Like, obviously, like, that's like a part of the storyline of being competitive with stuff in general. So
do you think it's been a lot of pressure and no payoff? It sounds to me like you're really happy that you guys have gotten as good as you have, but now you have to stay there, and staying in first sounds like it's a lot less fun than getting to first.
yeah, I have some more like things that I'll talk about later that I really want to get accomplished. That I still have not accomplished. I'm sure a lot of us do here. We all have the same goal in mind. But yeah, I definitely am super happy about like how far I've gone, especially since like how like mm, I don't want to say bad, but like I guess like I really was that bad in the first game. Like I don't know, let's just like well, if I did it like anyone can do it, like I don't know. It's just like
Um,
I okay, you can
sorry.
go.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, Bliss.
It's okay.
I think to add on to that because I've been playing with the team for longer than Bliss. Um, in terms of kind of holding our title, so to speak, as like the best team in North America, I think it's taxing sometimes because obviously we're getting older and we're basically all starting to move into like college and university, and we're getting less and less time to play the game. So whenever school kind of gets piled up on us, schoolwork and everything, we don't play for months on end. Basically, before the Winter Open, I did not play the game for maybe 3 months straight, competitively. And then when these tournaments get announced, like these big tournaments get announced, the consensus is that, oh well, FTWin hasn't been playing, they're probably gonna lose. So it feels like it kind of motivates you because you wanna prove people wrong in a sense. Um, but then it's also hard because to balance school and everything on the side, like sometimes like I will literally like I'll wake up at 5 a.m. to scrim for 2 hours and then I'll go to school and then I'll come home and I'll scrim again and then I have to do schoolwork like on top. Like it's definitely hard, but I think the payout is worth it in the end because I get to meet these guys in real life and it's really nice.
Well, shoot, you kind of just answered an entire question that was later on in the interview, so I'm just gonna skip to that one, dude. Uh, so you mentioned that it is tough and it's difficult waking up really early and then making time. What keeps you all motivated, and how do you balance Splatoon and other responsibilities? Because I think a lot of people look and they say, "Oh, all these guys do is play Splatoon," but I know from speaking to you guys, and also because Shaq tweets about chemistry every day, that you guys do other things outside of it, and you have other responsibilities. So how do you balance staying so good at Splatoon with making your way into life?
Well, I guess for me, I basically already said like if there's no like really big tournament coming up, I'm just not going to be playing the game because I want to uh focus on my schoolwork because I want to go to like a good university and everything, and I believe that part of success is kind of where you study. But when these big tournaments do get announced, and usually I'm pretty uh I guess busy with school. I don't know. I guess like I feel like my productivity gets really good, and I basically dedicate any time where I'm not playing to studying, and then if I am playing, it's only to scrim. It is just to scrim, just to practice. I will not play any squads. I will not play solo queue. I will play for the sole reason of practicing because that's like the only time where I'm actually spending my time efficiently in game. Because if I am playing Splatoon and I'm not screaming, then I'm probably playing solo queue and then I'm developing worse habits, and that's just counterintuitive.
Yeah. Like the good thing about, for example, me is that even I have to do my own things. I don't sleep that much, and my schedule is like so fucked. But if that's why I fit so well with the team. Like even it's like a 7 hours difference. Like even I have to do my things the whole day. When I arrive home, I maybe play like for 4 or 5 hours straight before sleep. And yeah, that's basically how I had to spend like time to play normally.
So you go with the "I'll sleep when I'm dead" option, and that's
Kinda.
hey,
I mean,
I respect it, especially with the
I
time
mean,
difference.
exactly. It's like maybe someday like my body just wants to sleep for 4 days, but from now, that like it didn't happen either. So I will keep going.
Love that. Well, it hasn't crashed yet, so let's keep going until it does. I mean, that's the dedication that it takes, and I
Exactly.
think it says a lot.
Just push it.
Kyo, we haven't heard from you in a hot minute, and I know you've been very close to stepping away a few times. If you're telling the truth on Twitter, that is. And I know that you've come back each time, and you've always been someone who I think has been very positive about the game, about different metas. So I'm curious to your answer for this. What keeps you motivated? How do you balance your Splatoon workload with the rest of life?
In a similar sense to Cassie, I do not sleep a lot. As well as I'm pretty productive during my school days, so I can get a lot of work and stuff done like before I even get home to even play Splatoon. Sometimes I'll do work while playing. Lately I've been playing much less solo queue, not counting the past week on stream. We want to talk about that. I play much less solo queue now, so I devote a lot of time to scrimmages, and I think a lot of the part of being motivated is I think one of my last goals for the game, like before I was like I want to quit, is I went to Worlds, but I didn't win Worlds. So I think that's like my motivating factor is I want to win the World Championship before I quit the game.
That's a good goal, man. Hey, listen, you've outlasted Yamamichi, so all you have to do is get a little bit further now, and you'll have done the job. But dude, I respect that so much. Like, not enough to stand on the stage. You've got to be holding the trophy too. So, anybody else?
I guess for me, like juggling things like school and whatnot definitely was not as easy for me as these guys, since like I'm not as academically gifted as them. So like I definitely tried my hardest to like grind as much as I can, and while also like being like or doing well in school. So yeah. I mean, I graduated, so that's cool. But yeah.
Hey, graduation is important. That's an awesome part to hear, though, that it doesn't come as easy as for some as it does for others. So the fact that you've been able to still contribute, I think, says a lot about you and your character, and that's good to hear. Because I think a lot of people assume that it's just a bunch of whiz kids playing forever and ever, and that's not always the case. Let's see here. I know I'm trying to remember where we left. Okay, so this is good. I hope that I set this up properly. Okay, here it is. Here's the tweet. This is the fun one. So, Kyo, you tweeted, people didn't like when STDX won all the time. I wonder if people dislike us as well. And a lot of people responded to this saying that, no, we love you guys. STDX built up a reputation that you guys don't have. Y'all are chill. We couldn't possibly hate you, yada, yada. But the trash talk up recently too was met with a lot of like surprisingly negative feedback. So I'm curious, like, what do you guys think about all the public perception? Because you guys never struck me as people who went out of your way to start problems at all. Like, the most controversial tweet you guys would make is L instead of W. So like it was never anything bad, but it seems like just now by winning, by getting hyped about your victories, you guys have received a lot of negative feedback. So I'm curious if that really struck you guys in a negative way, if you were surprised, if you expected it.
Nah, not really. I wasn't surprised because like I think the tweet is more about like are people upset that we're constantly winning, just like FTX was. But like I received negative or backlash before from I think the biggest example is squid bagging against AR at Worlds, and
that was the sickest kill in the tournament, man. That was the best thing.
I don't know why people are upset, but like that I've gotten negative feedback about that for a while. As well as like I've been shit talking for the longest time, so I think maybe it just got noticed more because I was streaming directly, so people were able to see it from my perspective. And I don't know, the backlash didn't really surprise me, and I'm not. I didn't really think it's that big of a deal because it's like it's a very small minority of people who get upset about it, and like I think Kibber his tweet after people were upset about me trash talking did a lot to diffuse the tension.
I'm trying to remember. Like his tweet said something to the effect of like, "It's more to hype ourselves up than say anything bad about the opponents." Was
Yeah,
that like kind of the summary of it?
that's pretty much it. And I think a lot, or what goes into that aspect of it is, I won't shit talk against like lower level teams. Like if we're just playing bracket, like round 3 versus Div 1 team that was just trying to improve, I'm not gonna shit talk them. Like I'm just gonna play the game. But like in grands, like maybe I need that extra motivation boost. And like me and Kiver are friends. He knows that, so he knows like when I'm shit talking him, none of that is really like me putting him down because I think he's a really good player. So
Basically, if you hear shit talk being made about you, you're doing something right.
Ooh.
True.
Ooh.
Ooh.
true.
This is smart.
I guess that's the thing for you all to take from this interview, everybody. Grind until someone shit talks you, and that's how you know you've made it. And I mean, I guess to kind of delve into this a little bit further, because I think this is a pretty fascinating topic. Like, do you think that? Because here's my general mantra on trash talk. You can't force it. If you force it, it's just cringy as heck. And like, I hate when people are like, "We need more beef." I'm like, look, if we have people who start beef, it'll happen naturally. There's no need to try to make it happen. But do you guys think we need more of that? Do you think that it's, and I guess Shat kind of answered this earlier, do you really think that that's been a big help to you? Do you think other teams can gain from that? What is your take on it?
Well, I think something with Kyo is very special, and it's when he gets. So basically, what starts the trash talk is him getting a really stupid kill that he should never be able to get in his life of playing this game. And when he does that, and he starts trash talking, he just starts getting even crazier kills, and it's kind of like a snowball effect. So if Kyo is already playing good, and he gets a really dumb kill that he shouldn't have gotten, he will play even better. So it helps us play better, because by getting loud, he's getting loud, and then we automatically get even louder to compensate for him getting like a crazy kill. So because of what Hexen taught us, we play like way better. But I don't think it's something that every team should do, because like if you watch like a lot of European teams, they're really quiet. Like some people, like I know Kiver, like he's very composed when he plays tournaments, and he's usually very quiet. So I don't think that getting loud and like trash talking will work for every team. I guess that's my stance on it.
Yeah, like even me, that I'm in the team, I'll never get loud with them. Like I'm someone who never screams, like who just always be like the same. And like I'm like the completely opposite. Like sometimes I just get like kinda depressed mid game because like I do something so stupid that I shouldn't, like a mistake. Like I'm this I don't know, they get loud and they play better and I'm not like that. But somehow it works still. I don't know how. But like it's not for everyone. Maybe like these guys do this and it works for them. But that doesn't mean like if these guys are good with it, like everyone should do that. You just have to find your own thing that makes you play better or something that motivates you mid game. That's
Yeah,
kind
I
of the
don't
key.
really think you can force it. Like how
Yeah,
how awkward would it be if you're listening to KP's comms and then you just hear them start screaming?
yeah, that's really
That
weird.
would be so off-putting.
Yeah, in everyone in their own language, it will be even funnier.
Well, it has been really cool to see, again, now that all of you have been able to stream a little bit more. The fact that we've gotten to see that side of you too, and see the personality behind the seemingly endless streak of winning tournaments. Let me see here. I know that another one here, and Kyo, you kind of alluded to this earlier as well. You guys have kind of been seen as, I mean, it started as NA's last hope. Now it's starting to become, is FTWin the team that's finally going to be able to beat the Japanese team at Worlds and finally cement themselves as the team that took the next step that we've all been trying to do for years? What has that meant for pressure? Do you ever feel pressure? And I guess another way, do you guys ever feel the pressure that others put on you, or do you guys put so much pressure on yourself that it doesn't even matter?
I know I can't speak for everyone on the team, but like pressure wise, I'm actually like very good like with that sort of thing. I never get like nervous or like I know I said like earlier, but that's like a different thing, I guess. But if someone's like up 2 on me like at Genesis, like you could literally see me like shaking before the game. Like I would Quavo, I know Quavo was up there and he was trying to calm me down and I was like, but like when I'm in the game, it's completely different. Like it's just like removed instantly. I don't feel anything and it just like it's almost like a motivating factor like I'm not going to let this like happen. I want to win like but I know people want to see us like overcome this obstacle and it means the world to me when like everyone's like rooting for you and that's kind of like a thing I talked about earlier when I was like okay, well if I'm on this team, I feel like a lot better like when I'm outside of the game. I don't really like get emotional in game, I guess. I'm more like of the I like get like loud sometimes with them, but like sometimes I'd be like quiet. I'm not really sure. It doesn't really like affect me that much. But if I'm not doing like too great in momentum, uh, I've looked like as like, these Japanese players for so long as like this like huge feat to get over, and all like the community is like looking up to us like our like you said our last uh standing fight against Japan, and we all have our personal goals in this game, like such as mine. I know my teammates are really passionate about the game and want to bridge the gap. I personally have my own goal. Uh, I want to be the best flatling, but I'm also like very passionate about beating Japan. I can't say like I have the same passion as these guys because they've been up on the stage more than I have. I've been to like one LAN and they've been there. They've been at Worlds. I haven't even been there and like the I think but anyway, I think we're closer than ever now to bridging the gap and there's been like a lot of people playing a lot more and like getting better and people like the newer generation has really rose up to the bar that has been set by the previous players, the original players of like the game. And I think the West is actually getting a lot better recently, and there's been a lot closer sets and like upsets, which is like really nice to like watch. And like Sayonara today coming back from uh the bracket resetting the bracket
Yeah.
or from Astral Paradise, like putting on that pressure of that was crazy. I didn't think they were gonna do that. That was insane. But that's just an example of like people are like getting over that like or the newer generations coming up per se. And I think another thing that sets players a lot is like uh as like how good they are is if they enjoy the game or not and enjoy grinding, because some players like you can tell like they're good but then they don't care for the game, like they'll just like if there's a difference between people that want to play the game, want to get better and want to be the best, and people that are just like they play the game for fun, like that's and they want to be the best.
Actually, if I may, one point you made there that I think would be kind of interesting to like get your thoughts on too, and any of you can feel free to answer this. I think that in Melee they always talk about how the game now it's the same players and the same characters, but Melee in 2020 is way ahead of Melee in 2017. Do you? I guess you kind of answered this already, Bliss. Like, how much better are players and teams now at the start of 2020 than they were even last year at this time?
I think I think obviously like what I said, I think everyone's getting a lot better. I think people are starting to figure out the game and like learn from Japan per se, or some people. I know like like even TikTok when I was starting to get like into the start of +1, like I was just mechanically good. I did not have a brain. I literally just I just held forward. I'm gonna be honest.
Hold forward ballpoint, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Ninja Squid Ballpoint. That was a time. Anyway, TikTok like he went like VC with me, and he like taught me like a lot of stuff, and that was huge for me. Like he taught me like he was VOD reviewing with I forgot the name of the commentator.
Oh,
He
Redu?
he said yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
And uh he went in VC with me, and he was like telling me like all this stuff. He was like watching back the games, and he was like telling me like this different things when I was playing with their team in the crown. Uh I think that was like one of my turning points. Like I started being like, okay, kills isn't everything. Like I know that's like kind of weird hearing from me, because like how far I've already gotten with like having that mindset isn't really good. I think that like pushed me over like my my little obstacle that I had to overcome, because I don't know. I just never thought of the game like that in a way, and I know that sounds kind of bad, but
I mean, if
I don't
anything,
know.
it's encouraging because it shows how far we have to go and how far things can still get pushed.
Is it okay if I add
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I think with the skill level now compared to before, there's this one time in the FTWin server where we're all just hanging out, and then we start talking about our Inkstorm run, and then Hexen, he's in voice chat with us, and he was saying, "Oh, dude, like look at like the players back then. We are so bad at the game." And so we watched the Inkstorm VODs, and like every single like move made by anybody in that tournament was like god awful. Like the aim was really bad, the movement was really bad, and like when you compare to now, like people are infinitely better. And
So,
it's
would you say
sorry.
that like Sayo, for instance, today's Sayo could go back and win that tournament?
Oh yeah, I think the skill level of the Inkstorm 2018, that was 2018. Yeah, the like teams is maybe like a Div 1 at best team today.
Wow.
Div 1, Div X. It's like if you watch it back, you'll see like a lot of the plays, like the positioning, just even the aim itself is just really really bad. If you compare it to now, and I guess with the kind of original question, with Bliss, I think we have a really good chance of winning Worlds. And I think the big thing is that Bliss is really good mechanically. And like you said, he said that he's not like super smart about the game or anything, um, which means that he has really good potential. And I'd like to think that we're also pretty knowledgeable about the game. So whenever you're playing a tournament, it's obviously it's high intensity situations, and I was talking to Kyo about it, and he described it basically a tournament is to see who's the best when playing at their worst, because of winners and everything. And I think
From FLC, by the way.
he stole it from FLC.
Hey, we've
one
all
thing-
everyone with their salt has stolen something from FLC. It's okay. Like 90% of what I do is stolen from FLC. It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, one thing about Bliss is that when he makes a bad play, he does not get flustered and he does not start to play bad. It's not like anything snowballs. If we tell him to do something, if he makes a bad play and he dies in game, we tell him to do something and he immediately does it. He does it in game, like the moment we tell him to do it, and then we're able to win the game. It's crazy how easily he's able to adapt and listen to our calls, and I think that's a big factor of just how good he is, and I think that's going to contribute a lot to hopefully on the stage at Worlds this year. Yeah.
That's it's so cool again, even in an interview, to hear you guys hyping yourselves up, hyping each other up. Hyping each other up is what I meant to say there. I don't think like any of you have hyped yourselves up. It's been like, yeah, my teammate's good at this, or this person got this
Mm-hmm.
this kill that was absolutely insane. But I mean, it's good to see the confidence, and I mean, to be perfectly honest, I was really impressed with how you guys played last Worlds because I don't know, I didn't know if the nerves were going to get to you guys, and to see you guys play as well as you did, if you guys get to go up there again this year, I can't wait to see what kind of show you guys are going to put on. But on that note, again, from the top team's perspective, and you kind of have gone into this a little bit already, so it might not be too long of a description here, but what do you see from the Japanese teams that everyone looks at? Because people love to refer to Japan doing this, Japan doing that, but I think what a lot of people do is they simply look at the stat sheet, see that this weapon got played, and then say, oh, Japan is running this, when that's not really the full story. So what is it they do? What do you guys see that we can take from them, or that we're lacking most of compared to what they do?
Okay, so if like anyone who watch Japanese players, like you can see that they only play Tour 4 or Splatoons. Like besides here that we play like all modes, and those modes in particular are modes who like doesn't rely that much on kills. It's just about pressure and making the team, like the enemy team, being forced to do a bad play. And that's what they do. Like they don't go for kills. They know how to win with their weapons. Like they know how, like which one are their strengths and their weakness, and they exploit those. Like they're not gonna force you things. Like they're just gonna put pressure on one side to make like all your team back up, and just make you like freak out and do something bad and punish that. That's what's all about. Instead of here that people is like, oh dude, I have a waller, I'm gonna rush, I'm gonna explode, I'm gonna try to trade. That's the people that makes here. So I think that's the main issue. Like the mentality, like trying to top frag, the KD doesn't matter if you don't win, if you don't play well. You can bottom frag, but you put a lot of pressure and you like zone all the enemy. That's at least how I see it.
And Kyo, do you have anything to add, or Bursty, either any one of the rest of you guys? Because I know a lot of you have really cut your teeth in Japanese scrims, so I'm curious what you all have seen in regards to that.
I know someone wanted to talk about a certain red dually.
Oh
was
yeah,
that-
that was me.
Yeah.
So one thing I see a lot in the Japanese scene, and it works for some of our players here, is the that they will specialize a lot in their weapon choices. Biggest example, or most recent example, Siryu, I think that's how you pronounce it, from Crazy Boys, is a one-trick red dually. I don't even know their weapon's name. Squelcher player.
Custom dually Squelcher.
Yeah, custom dually Squelcher player. And when you one-trick a weapon, you are going to be accustomed to most situations where it works and where it doesn't, and how you're supposed to play it in every situation. And when I see a lot of Western players try to just switch on to the same things, I don't really understand like the logical reasoning behind it. So I think we have to be more open to just focusing on your ability to play one weapon, because I see that a lot, as well as in lower level teams, is they will pick things that are very hard to play. And growing or coming up into Splatoon, I made sure that I did not play those types of weapons, because you have to understand. I think you have to understand the game on a more basic level before you can do such type of things, right? And even now, like I still play like Machine more than anything else, and it's just I don't. I think it's a divide in the mentality, but I don't know how to like fix it.
I think that people coming out and talking about it is a big first part of it. That's one of the reasons I'm so glad that you guys are willing to do this, because you know, a lot of it's one thing if someone like me tries to talk about it, or someone else on another stream tries to talk about it, but people put a lot of stake into what you guys say about the game. So it's cool to hear you point that out and talk about how there is a certain fundamental level. And I know Gamba talked about it last week, about how, I mean, people are so quick to look at a weapon being used and not see the 2 years of one tricking or practice with that weapon that got them to that level. And yeah, I hope that people go the other way, so I never have to play against another custom dually squelcher ever again in my life. I hate that weapon. I liked when people thought it was bad.
I hate
Yeah.
bamboo.
or find 5 squatches in your ranked game. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, I literally found yesterday 5 squatches in my game. And I was like, why? Why?
I thought we were
It's not
past
even
double
like
rank.
just a lower level player thing as well, because like I'm guilty of it. Shout outs to me playing BPN on Clan with Pit.
Yeah.
Well, hey, there are a lot of weapons. Like, I don't know, sometimes you just get curious. You're like, oh, wow, this works. Let me see if it works. And then, that's me whenever I try to play anything that isn't a bucket or a blaster. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's, no, never mind.
Same.
Oh, man. And I guess on this same note, and you kind of have gone into this already, like, what is it about NAEU Splatoon that you guys don't like in terms of, like, discussion, mentality? Like, there are times I feel like there's a defeatist sort of attitude around the game when it comes to NAEU, especially as it's, like, compares to Japan. But sometimes even, like, with other NAEU teams, I feel like there are a lot of players who look at top teams like you guys and say, oh, well, they're there and we're here, and that's just that. Like, is there anything you guys have noticed?
Okay, I guess I think a lot of teams, I guess more on the North American side. I can't really speak for Europe because when they are playing, I'm in school. I just started the school day, mainly. But I feel like these teams, they say that they want to be the best, but then they don't do it. They don't practice for it as much as we do, I think. Like I said earlier, when there's a big tournament coming up, or really if I play Splatoon at all, I'm pretty much only scrimming, because to me scrimming is the only thing that's worth my time to get better. And I feel like if more North American teams dedicated their time to practically exclusively scrimming, if they're always playing when they're scrimming, then they're always practicing and they're always getting better. And I'm not saying that you don't want to have fun, but sometimes to reach that next level, you have to put some things away, so to speak, so that you can really get better. And I think that's what helps us. We practice a lot, and I'd say it's more than the North American teams, which is why we've been so dominant as of late.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Oh, the throat's clear.
XP
Oh,
power does not equate to skill level.
No
That's
idea
it?
what you're referring to. Not an idea. No clue. No clue.
I think basically the idea is like you can play a lot, but it doesn't matter that much if you don't like try to learn and practice as hard as you can, like the amount of time you play. Like you can play less hours and have like more productive gameplay and something more constructive by the hours you play.
Yeah,
If
you're.
you just try to,
I was just gonna say your coach actually famously said that on an episode of Inc. Radio. He talked about how he said he had maybe a quarter of the hours of most top players in Splatoon, but that he still got results because he knew how to practice better.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly.
And
Like doesn't matter if you just spam solo queue games. Like solo queue, it's not that like okay. If you spam solo queue, you're gonna get like sometimes bad habits at playing. That's a fact. Like if you spam like your whole day solo queue, like that's why I don't recommend playing solo queue that much, like super intensified. Also, maybe you're gonna lose some brain cells, and like you just can try to do a pickups or screens or like try to record your own gameplays, even solo queue, and try to record them. Like even if solo queue, try to play them better and as good as you can.
Yeah, I
Like,
think you have to look at him. You have to look at him like solo queue. I definitely think like Japan looks at it a little differently too. There are some tournaments that are only open to people with high enough XP, but I think even there's like I feel like you have to have a different mentality about solo queue.
Basically because they're all top players play solo queue on Splatoon. So, like if you see Japanese like open rec and stuff, when they come like rotation Splatoons, no one screams. Everyone is in solo, spamming games. So like go to ranked in Splatoon's time, it's like getting a scream by scream by scream. So that's why they like think it's more important since you beat all good people there. At least is how I think it is.
I think you're on the right track there. I think that's the right idea. Also, excellent. Shaq has just confirmed that I get to join FTWin because my XP is higher than Toon. So congratulations, congratulations me. I've done it. I've accomplished everything I wanted to do in Splatoon.
You'll be in the following list soon.
Yes, excellent. That's actually the real goal right there is to get followed by FTWin. Although given how long it took me to follow Kyo and Shaq, you guys are probably never gonna give me that one back. So you know what? I deserve it. I deserve it. So I guess for the last little bit here, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about regarding any of the earlier questions.
I'm good.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, perfect. Then tell us some fun facts about you guys, the people beyond the players. Do you have any fun facts about each other? Hopefully, you guys are aware of like what you guys were gonna say here. I don't want like this to be secret hour that nobody knew about ahead of time. But like, go ahead. Is there anything fun about any of the players? Any fun stories you want to share? Anything like that as we wind down?
Oh God, I just thought of something and I don't want to. Oh my God. Okay.
Do you want me to...
Wait. Okay. So, I get teased a lot on the team. However, there's one moment where that kind of reached an all-time high, and it was prior to the World Championships, and I don't know. I know Kyo follows because I very much regretted that conversation, but basically I kind of needed some chunks, and
Oh.
some things went wrong, and I kind of had to start over.
He deleted his save data.
So I
How?
well I
Trying
messed
to
up doing
clear
something, so I had to delete the data, and or else I would run the risk of getting
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
yeah. So I had to level. That's why I'm level 84 right now. Actually, I'm still not prestiged. That I have not lived that one down. Because if I make fun of anyone, they basically bring that up to me. So it's gonna be there for a while.
The worst thing is that I had the same issue like 1 week ago. I started the game because like I download like a lot of free games on the Switch to try them out, and I don't like them to using like my space on the Switch. So I was deleting them, but it took so long, and I was watching streams, and I was like super like watching them like, oh, this is so boring, and I accidentally deleted this Splatoon data, and I was like, oh shit. I had like 4K hours, and I was like,
All right. Well, everybody, your top players accidentally delete the game. There you go. That's all you need to know. Like, if there is hope for us all, it is for all of us who have not deleted our save data. So
yeah,
that is
if
good.
you're gonna get better, delete the data. Dude. At least try it.
That's the next step. That's the next step of getting good at the game.
If it makes you feel any better, I got banned on 2 different accounts for trying to hack my chunks. Never again. 2 different switches got banned. Splatoon.
We're really not the smartest group of players.
You know, you put your stat points into Splatoon skill. It's okay. That's all you need to know right there. That's hilarious though that 3 of you have run into those problems. Kyo, please tell me that you are still on the same
I am
account.
authentic.
Okay. Well, you have like wait, what's your hours counter right now? I need to know, man. How close are you?
Let's open OBS. Let's see what my hours counter is.
This is important, man. I need to know this because
Like,
Please
he
enable this one.
he disabled that from his friend list. Like you cannot.
I
do that.
am people is 7,150.
Oh my God.
7,150. Yes.
What?
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Like you should make a tweet and pulling out. Hey, guess
You
how
definitely
many
have the
hours?
most.
No.
There's no way anyone has more. It's
Every time
impossible.
it makes that tweet, I get annoyed. No way.
Dude, if you ever get to 9,000, you have to post about it, and then everyone can spam their over 9,000 gifs, because like you know that's gonna happen eventually. And then at 10K, people are gonna say like the 10,000 hour mastery rule. So the real question is, what's gonna happen first, Splatoon 3 or Kyo's 10K? Actually, vote for that in chat. Press 1 if you think it's gonna be Splatoon 3. Press 2 if you think it's gonna be Kyo hitting 10,000 hours.
I'm gonna say 2 because he started streaming and he's been playing a lot.
Oh, yeah, he's
Oh god, everyone is
around.
posting 2. Everyone
I'm
is
gonna-
posting
a
2.
lot.
It comes
Alright,
out
well-
this year that I won't
I'm-
get it.
No,
I'm gonna say
sir.
1. I'm gonna say 1 because he's gonna fuck up his data and he's gonna.
Oh no.
Just like the rest of us.
All right, well, hey, the crowd has spoken. Congratulations on 10,000 hours, Kyo. Did you guys have
Yeah.
anything else that you guys wanted to talk about for fun facts? Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and sign out for you all. But is there any other fun stuff? Because I got to know, like, those stories were already way better than I thought they were going to be. So if there's any more, I have to know it.
Yeah, I have a couple things I want to say. First
no.
of all, I have this Rubik's cube. Okay. Since the first day that I've spoken to these people, I've had this Rubik's cube, and I've always played it in VC, and they've always heard it because my mic is like picks up everything. Like my mic never goes like not green. Like it picks up everything. Like I could be completely silent and pick up something. Anyway, so I have this Rubik's cube, and I left it at my dad's house, and then I finally got it back, and then I played it today in VC, and everyone popped off. They're like, "Oh, the cube!"
He's on the
Uh,
cube.
Yeah, and there's another thing I want to say. That I'm secretly in love with Quavo.
Oh my god.
Bro, come on.
Well, I guess it's not secret anymore.
It's true.
Hey, congratulations.
I'm sure Quavo's really happy about it.
Is he?
I mean, his icon is blushing right now, so.
That's true. It's true. I want to say that I hate Bercy's jokes and his tweets because he'll just think of something randomly in VC, like he'll just stop talking mid twin, and he does the same thing for a minute, and then you just see a new tweet on Twitter, and it's like one man's cracked is another man's smooth. Like, what does that mean, bro? Like, it's so dumb. I hate it so much.
Wait, that's not as disappointing as when I found out that Toon ghostwrites all of Kyo's tweets. Like that was
Oh.
I was destroyed when I heard that.
I didn't even know about that.
He took my phone.
He took my phone. For those who don't know, Kyo's infamous what was it? It was shredding cheese until I say stop, and then you just never say stop, and then everyone in the entire building dies as it fills with cheese. That was the best tweet ever. And then when I found out that Toon wrote that instead of you, I was destroyed, dude. I was positively destroyed.
Such a fraud, dude.
Well, I gained a newfound respect for Toon, I'll say that. Like, not that I didn't respect
Yes,
him before,
sir.
but like, dude's a comedy genius.
That's true.
Oh,
All right, guys, this has been amazing. It's already been an hour and 10 minutes since we started this interview, and it does not feel like it's been that long, but go ahead real quick, and I guess you can go down the line. If you guys are streaming, go ahead and say where you're streaming, how people can follow you, and I guess anything you've got coming up.
Okay, I guess we'll go alphabetically. So I stream on Twitch at
Bliss is before
Bursty.
Bursty.
Oh no,
Itachi.
we're going by the thing. Yeah, it's a Taj.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
Itachi.
You've been
I
calling him
stream on
Bliss.
Twitch.
Oh god. Oh my god.
My Twitch is Bursty_, and my Twitter is also Bursty_. And that's all you need to know.
I stream on Twitch every day. I have a Twitter, surprisingly. Both of those are Itachi Uchiha SPL.
I mean, mine is like 4Chaos_. In YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And yeah, that's basically it.
Mine is Kyo-chan DXD on Twitch and Twitter. Don't ask why that's the at. Just know that it is.
My Twitter is Quavo-chan.
My Twitter and Twitch are both the number 5 HAK _. Why are you laughing? Oh my god, dude. Yep, 5 _. Both Twitch and Twitter.
Okay, Kyo, is that actually why it's DXD?
Yeah.
I
was like 12, bro.
He knows.
Oh no! Oh,
You should not have asked that. You definitely should not.
He did Tune once again coming in ghostwriting
That's
for
true.
you, man.
That's true.
Even he's in Japan, he's ready to fuck your.
Bro.
All right. Hey, thank you guys so much once again. I know that a lot of people are really happy to hear from you guys and just, I don't know, see, I guess, I don't want to say another side of you guys because you guys are always goofy, but it's really fun to bring you guys into an interview setting and still see how much fun you guys have doing it. So thank you once again, guys. Any closing remarks before I send it off?
I have 2 North American championships despite not playing the game.
It's true. It's true. You can run the stats.
I'm a North American champion, being European.
It's true. You can run the stats on that one too.
That's, I mean, just as fitting as Kyo joining Europe for Crown. So, I mean,
It's
you,
true.
you guys have managed to win everything despite not even being in everything. And that's what's really remarkable.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, thank you guys once again. I'm going to move along with some of the other stuff and free you for the evening. Good luck in GSM. You guys are the 2 seed, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Unfortunately.
I gotta talk about that either. But yes.
Don't worry. I'm sure the people will tune into your Twitters and find out all they want to know. All right. Thank you
Thank you,
guys.
man. See ya.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you.
All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. That was crazy fun, as we knew it was going to be. Those guys are total goofballs, and they showed it right there. I almost want to say that was the funniest interview that I've done, but that's saying a lot. But we're going to go ahead and move on from 1 to 2. Whoops. That's the wrong button here. You know, it's been so long since I've done this, I've already messed up. 1 to 2, and then here from 2 to 3 to the soapbox. I can't even push buttons, guys. I have all this set up on buttons, and I can't even hit the buttons right. But the soapbox, because as some of you may know, the soapbox is the segment of the Back Nine where I come and I preach a little bit about a topic that means a lot to me. It can be something that's very personal about the game, about the community, something along those lines. And for this one, we are actually going to look at, not this button. Again, I can't even hit the right button here for this one. This is called How to Contribute, and this, I want you to take a look at the dates on these tweets, okay? Because these are my tweets. I'm featuring my own tweets here, and I'm going to read them from bottom to top because that is the order that I tweeted them in. December 30th, 2015. I want to get more involved in the Splatoon community beyond simply playing and talking on squid boards. I feel there's room for growth. That said, I'm at a bit of a loss as to how best do this. Do we need more video content, writing, tournament organization? Groups like @Team Nintendo, rest in peace, are already doing some awesome work. Where do I come in? What can I do? Splatoon might be my favorite game to play, but it has the potential to be so much more. I want to do my part to take it there. And I bring this up not to toot my own horn here, but because I want you all to know that that was the moment where NineWholeGrains was really born. Right? My name actually wasn't even NineWholeGrains back then. It was C Whitehead 839. But that was the moment where I asked myself, what can I do? How can I contribute? What can I possibly bring to the table that NineWholeGrains was born? I hadn't commentated yet. There was no #Free9. I'd never stood on a world stage. But that was where it was born. Because it was at that moment that I decided I wanted to contribute and that I would find a way to do it. And that's how it all starts. People talk about Splatoon being grassroots, how we build ourselves up, how we do things by the community for the community. And while that's all true, that means that everybody has the opportunity to contribute. Some people say, well, I don't have a great skill set. My first contribution to the scene was simply retweeting when Tic Tac started streaming. That was what I did. I was a Tic Tac fan, I retweeted his streams, and that was my first contribution. I count that as my first contribution. That was before I was a competitive player, that was before Stratosphere, that was before I commentated. For some of you out there, that may be all you can do. You may be busy. You may not be able to produce any sort of content. And I want you to know that that's okay. Simply deciding that you want to contribute and giving something back is enough. Maybe it's retweeting that there is a tournament that's going on. Maybe it's following a Twitch streamer. Maybe it's sharing a YouTube video, liking a YouTube video, or maybe it's helping out with running a tournament. So many people get so focused on the big stuff that they don't look at what it is they can do. They look and say, I'm not a tournament organizer, so there's not anything I can do to help alleviate the current lack of major tournaments or things along those lines. And that's not true. There are so many tournaments that people don't know about because people don't like and retweet and spread the word. Every single one of us can spread the word, and I am part of this too. I can do a better job of it, and I'm going to do a better job of it. But this soapbox is to let you all know that you all have power to contribute to this beautiful game and to this scene if you simply ask, how can I contribute? Now, we're going to move along here to, I hit that button, dang it, the polls and discussion. And I know that we are moving through this pretty quick, but again, I wanted to make sure that the bulk of today's show was that interview, and I think you guys enjoyed it. But this has become a very favorite part of mine, and I think a lot of people of you enjoy it too. The polls and the poll results. Every week we put up a poll, we have you vote on it and post your thoughts on it, and then we review it here. So, from the last show, ignore the 119, it is actually the 206 show. What type of events do you think the scene needs more of? Simple one-day brackets, multi-day majors, internet or invitational style events, and consistent circuits. You can see winning with 35.5% was multi-day majors. Then, coming in second, we had consistent circuits at 26.6%, 22.7% with simple one-day brackets, and 15.2% with the invitational style events, bringing up the rear. I'm not too terribly surprised that multi-day majors won because those tend to be the lifeblood of the scene. K-Bot himself posted about that, and I think a lot of people understand that those are the events that the scene has grown upon. Your Ink Storms, Crowns, GSM, all these major events that people tune into to watch over a full weekend, I think is the way that a lot of people grew up experiencing Splatoon. What I am very surprised, though, is that 26.6% asked for consistent circuits. And that's, again, pretty interesting to see, because I've always felt that Ludi got the short end of the stick when it came to public perception. But maybe this is, I guess, kind of a wake-up call that people are interested in seeing something where there's consistent results, where the format stays consistent, and where they can track how events are going. But with simple one-day brackets getting 22.7% of the vote, I actually was able to pull a couple of our top responses. And you can see right here at the time, Slimy said 18% voted simple one-day brackets, which was true at the time. There's like 4 a week, he said. And then 1/2 replying, clearly people are seeing the survey, because presumably they follow Nine, but are unaware of these weeklies. Seems like there needs to be more incentive for non-TOs with large followings to spread tourney info. We've grown to a point where Twitter word of mouth won't work. So I think, again, everybody, if you're looking for ways to contribute, help get the word out that we have all of these events. Because, again, these exist. These are run, teams compete in them, and yet people think there's still almost a quarter of the people who voted think that there needs to be more, when clearly those already exist. So there you go. If you see a tweet about it, give it a retweet. Another response from the legendary Swiffy, former teammate and friend of the show. More randomizers. TBH, one of the things I missed most from early Splatoon was the amount of crossover you'd see between teams. IDK if we could ever go back to those days, but something new and fun that everyone could participate in would be great for the community as a whole. And again, top responses end up being ones that I think are either the most constructive towards discussion or the most interesting. And I think that the idea of randomizers and things like that could be a very fun way for teams and players to meet new people. That is, I think that something along the lines of a Twitch community or a streamers community doing things like that could be a great opportunity to do so and could make for a very fun and open event. And I don't know that that's something that the top players would want to participate in, but to be honest, they wouldn't really need to participate in. The whole point of it would be something that's simply fun, can pit different players together, and that they can all enjoy in their own way. So now we have our final segment of the day, new segment, and the next guest. So the new segment, everybody, I want you to take a look at this because I am prouder of it than I should be. It is called the 9 to 5, and trust me, I promise that it'll be much better when you actually get to see it there. I whipped that up in like 10 minutes right before we started. But then 9 to 5 is going to be another opportunity for you all to contribute to this show. Every show, I am going to have a highlight reel of the top 5 user-submitted clips of the week. So I think you guys will enjoy this because it's my way of kind of looking and spreading some of the cool plays that I see on Twitter. But I want you all to help me find this. So if you see a clip or something along those lines that you really think is good, just tag me in it, put hashtag 9 to 5, something along those lines so I can look, so I can grab it, and so I can put it in its own top 5 Sports Center-esque clip, little video that will be at the end of every Back 9 episode. I'll also upload them to YouTube so everyone can see them. I talked about ways to contribute, and last week we talked about people getting hyped about their own game. I think this is a great way to do both of those and to use my platform for something that might be good. It's true, I don't have a 9 to 5, but it's nice to steal common verbiage while I can. Can you send in old clips now that this is starting? You cannot. Unfortunately, these clips are to be tweeted at me as they come out. Otherwise, we'd see the same clips referenced every single time. Lily saying 9 is a stinky. Well, you know what? You make puns, so I get to make them too every now and again. So 9 to 5, you'll be able to see. If you see some clips that you like, please tag me in them. I will otherwise be looking and searching for the ones that I enjoy, but please send them my way. That makes it that much easier. And it's not exclusively just going to be top players. It's going to be the clips that I think is the best. Now, for our next guests and the final thing of this episode, we talked I guess it might have been last week, but the last Back 9 about Tic Tac. Tic Tac is still on the docket. Tic Tac is simply very busy right now, and I think he said he's moving, some things like that. So Tic Tac will be pushed back, but we do have another guest, and that guest is going to be Watson. Watson is someone I have wanted to interview for a long time. Finally decided to reach out, and we are going to be able to make it work. We're going to try to get it up this Wednesday, but more European representation for you out there. It is going to be a really fun one. We're going to talk about content creation and what it means to be a content creator and player at the same time, because Watson is one of the biggest Splatoon content creators out there, while also being a fantastic player, a great commentator, truly a jack of all trades when it comes to the world of Splatoon. We're going to find out his story. We're going to find out tips that he has for what it is it takes to be all these different things, the process he goes through when creating new content, and everything in between. So this is going to be a really, really enjoyable interview. We're going to try to get it up this week. If not, it will be our next interview, and Tic Tac, Splatoon's Mercenary, will be on the docket for after that. But I want to thank everybody who came in today for the stream. I know it's a little bit disorganized compared to what it normally is, but we just, the fact that we were able to get FTWin together was the big goal of all this. I'm glad that we were able to get them together, and then we were able to hopefully give you all a little bit of advice, maybe learn some things from them, learn that apparently deleting your save data is an important part of being a good Splatoon player. I wouldn't have known that if not for them, but listen, if it's FTWin approved, you can certainly implement it into your own gameplay. But thank you all once again for joining us for another episode of The Back 9, and until next time, stay fresh, everybody.